Hi all, welcome to my channel where we talk about all things neurodivergent and life challenges and basically just views of the world through a neurodivergent lens. I'm taking a walk with the dogs because actually I'm kind of like hiding from the wood delivery guy because I wasn't up for a social interaction, so I just left him a check and told him I was out. Again, kind of like a hallmark thing, I guess, of mine. I'd just rather avoid social interactions with people I don't really know that well. Anyways, so I think I'll go this way. I wanted to talk today about masking. I might have talked about it before on my channel. It kind of has come up recently again for me, just thinking about it and how I have struggled with it, masking and unmasking, and how there are different types of masking and like how it can feel to be unmasked or partially unmasked, or trying to decide or choose in situations how you should show up, and whether it's safe to show up. And it's not always really safe to be unmasked. There are some environments that really are not conducive to being unmasked as an autistic or neurodivergent person. There are people that are in minorities and minority populations that are in environments that be significantly impacted by being unmasked, their health, their safety. So I kind of want to preface this whole thing by recognizing that being unmasked at all is a privilege. And I do have some areas in my life where I can be unmasked. I spend a lot of time on my own, so I guess that's one environment. But then, I have children that I feel safe to be unmasked around. And to be honest, I don't know if there's ever any other environments where I've felt like I can completely unmask in. I can recall I kind of want to backtrack. I actually kind of converged on this topic because this week I was listening to a podcast called Divergent Conversations. It's a conversation between two neurodivergent people. I think it's two autistic people, about masking. And in kind of the same time frame as that, I went to, I think, probably my very first queer event. I went to a queer craft and arts festival, where, I don't know, the LGBTQIA population is just a place where people just generally feel marginalized. So you do kind of encounter a lot more people that are familiar with that experience, and also tend to have more neurodivergent people in them. So these two things kind of coincided at the same time in my life. And so I just kind of got thinking again and reflecting back on my journey with masking and just thinking about when it started for me. And honestly, I cannot remember a time when I was not hyper focused on it. I had this like triggered memory when I was going to this festival, because people were just dressed like very much how they wanted to express themselves. And I remember as a child, like, getting the message overtly and, you know, in other statements from my parents that, like, people that dressed weird or people that had tattoos, they're just bad people and we should stay away from those people. And I just got this message like, you don't want to be like those people. They're weird and you need to strive to like not be weird and not be like that because that's bad and wrong and we don't want to stand out like that. So I would like have this thought in my head that I had to like manipulate my physical appearance so that I would fit in. And I would spend like enormous amounts of time and sometimes have like meltdowns the night before school because I was like micro analyzing my clothing, like what shirt would look funny with these pants and how to do my hair. And I would like play it all out in my head. And I would like picture myself walking into school in each of the different outfits that I would like come up with and like try to envision what the people's faces would look like and what they would say to me and how I could hide in a way like to blend in. And honestly, I guess there's just something about it that's like, I clearly socially was a bit off or detectable as not quite like the same. And honestly, it's like my appearance, my outward appearance would sort of like amplify it because I would have this outward normative presentation and I was not like a weird looking kid or anything. I inside eventually at some point in my teen years kind of had come to the conclusion that I must be physically abhorrent because of the way, you know, people responded to me. I don't feel like that now, but at the time, the fact that I was so thinking that the people were treating me that way because something about me, like either it was my physical appearance or they could deeply see something about me that was just inherently flawed or wrong in some way, because no matter how hard I tried to look the part, I was like, the kids just zeroed in and the teachers just zeroed in and there's like literally nothing I felt like I could do to like fix that. It obviously didn't need to be fixed, but I think that the messages that either we overtly give to children, friends, peers, colleagues, whatever, Um, whether we say them outright or we act in ways that are communicating exclusionary things, it can be really, really damaging. And, you know, in the case that I'm talking about, it's like those people that were the weirdos, that were the freaks, that were physically different, were probably the people that I should have been hanging out with. They were probably my crowd as a young person. But I was told and given the message from my parents, and like my parents were heavily religious, and through religion just told that everything that was different or fell outside the standards was bad, immoral, wrong. And I couldn't fit in normative society, and so I heavily tried to mask. It still didn't work. I was still picked out, and you know, the whole time I could have found people that would have accepted me, but I didn't. So I don't know, it's weird. It's like part of this unmasking journey, or at least like reconnecting with my authentic self and like embracing my autistic qualities, has meant like, you know, questioning all that. I never really truly believed that those people were bad. In some ways, I just kind of always thought that based on the other things that my these adults and people in my life were communicating to me, that they were wrong on so many other things, so they could definitely be wrong on this too. But anyways, I digress. Part of this whole thing has been impacting my physical appearance and physical presentation. I used to like have my hair cut really short, because anytime I would go out, you know, to a professional setting, I wanted to look like really like razor polished. I, you know, did a lot of, you know, my dress was like very conservative, and like this balance of being like sort of feminine but not really too feminine. I like really skirted the line as far as I could by just trying to not like fall into any one particular category. Just again trying to like blend in. But I now like my hair long, and I don't dress. I just dress the way that I feel like I want to dress, and today I'm just wearing jeans and t-shirt. But some days I do like want to embrace like different aspects of my personality, and I just kind of go with that. I got a tattoo for the first time several years ago when I first kind of started like deep diving into psychology and like exploring my special interest and stuff. And then last summer I got another one, and then just a couple of months ago I got my nose pierced. I'd wanted to get my nose pierced for years, like I don't even know how many years. And I'd see other people having piercings, and I I always thought it really looked good, and I thought it would look good on me, and I did, and I liked it. And the kind of sad part about this is that, like, there were a lot of people that did, like, say, oh, it looks great or whatever. And some people were like, oh, I thought you always had that. And it's funny because I felt like I always had it. I felt like the changes that I've gone through physically, appearance-wise, is just sort of matching, like, everything that I already felt like inside. But I did get, like, some comments from my family, negative comments, being like, I don't like that. That's gross. It looks bad, and stuff like that. And I don't really take that and like weigh it entirely, but it is still kind of hurtful, I know that my family doesn't really accept my autistic self. It's no surprise, but it makes them feel uncomfortable, I'm sure. Yeah, and going back to the beginning of this, it's like, I went to this queer arts festival, and I realize I'm like kind of circling back, but everybody there was just like outwardly so embracing what they wanted to present themselves like, or how they felt like they wanted to show up in the world. And it was really very healing, and at the same time it was like kind of hard, because I was like feeling these things inside, like I could have been like this young person that is got multicolored hair and spiky, and I could have met people like this, and like I want to meet more people like this, because I felt normal, like in a crowd of people for the first time, I don't know however long, and that is like huge. It's really important as a human being to feel connected to other people, to feel like you have a place where you can show up authentically and be accepted. This platform has been so good for that, and I really think people who come on and comment, and you have no idea how amazing it is to hear that my experiences are the experiences of other people too, and that like this is like that like seclusion and isolation doesn't have to be the whole experience. Yeah, I just am so grateful that that people do follow this, and it does resonate. Anyways, I feel like coming back to the masking and unmasking stuff, it's like it really makes me think about how I engage with other people, and having any preconceived notions about what somebody is supposed to be like, or like really self-reflecting and evaluating, like, are there messages that I am communicating outwardly, stuff that I haven't like broken down and evaluated, things that are in me from my experiences that I haven't deconstructed. ways that I maybe like approve or make space for somebody else being like communicating division and judgment. And yeah, it's just something that I have been really thinking about. The impacts of masking, we know they're like so significant. It's like a huge energy drain. We know it leads to burnout. We know that it leads to negative health outcomes and autoimmune disorders and all kinds of things. Long COVID. There's just so many impacts from really trying so hard to monitor everything going on, and like those are impacts to our nervous system. And it's just so important that we really look at the environments that we're co-creating with our children, with our colleagues, with our partners. And it's just really got me thinking about it, and just thinking about how I want to show up for myself, how I want to show up for my children and other people in the community. And yeah, I'm getting curious about where I can go and show up that I will feel that same feeling, like that I'm in a place where I'll be accepted. Yeah, I don't know really how much more I have to say. That podcast, Divergent Conversations, it's kind of a newer podcast, and I can't remember the creators' names, and I'm sorry about that. Maybe I'll tag it in the description, or I'll write it in the description, so you can check it out. I really thought there were a lot of conversations for these two creators that were really relevant and helpful for, any neurodivergent person. So thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a great day.